It's almost 7:15 here on this Tuesday morning. Welcome. It's good to have you with us during this very, very short week in South Africa. Now, yesterday, the South African National Roads Agency, that's Sanral, issued a statement that summonses may be issued to motorists who neglect to pay their outstanding debt on e-tolls. Sanral is a South African parastatal that's responsible for the management, the maintenance and the development of South Africa's national road network. Their spokesperson couldn't make it for this interview, unfortunately, as he's busy travelling. But here in studio with us, we've got Wayne Duvenage. He's the chairperson of the organisation Undoing Tax Abuse, that's called Outa. Good to have you. Welcome to the programme.
Good morning, thank you.
Did this worry you at all when you heard what they wanted to do now, issuing summonses?
No, not at all. I mean, this is 2.5 years late. They started threatening in 2014, remember? And those days it was a criminal sanction that they were going to bring about. But now it's a civil one. A civil one, in other words, if you've had a contract with them and you've stopped paying, well, then they have some recourse and they can try and challenge mainly big companies they're talking about, not individuals.
Yeah, but if if I do, for instance, get a sheriff coming and knocking on my door and issuing a summons to me and I haven't paid and I have outstanding debt, what's going to happen to me?
Well, you can defend that case. Outa members will defend our members. We've said it all along. We've been in court. We have the collateral challenge that needs to be heard in court. The scheme has been introduced unlawfully. The scheme has failed completely as a user pays mechanism to pay for these roads. So, this is probably long overdue, and we say to Sanral, summons one of our members, and we will defend them, and we will set a precedent here.
We can see that Sanral is under immense pressure at the moment. I mean, they really are. We'll talk more about the pressure that they're under, but I think one of the big things is the global ratings agencies and the investment aid communities are now expecting them to demonstrate their commitment to financial responsibility. How did we get here in the first place?
Well, that is precisely the problem. They should never have been in this situation. They were warned by their own advisors in the beginning that if they went down this route without the compelled support of the people, the scheme had a big chance of failure. We've seen it fail in many parts of the world as a result of this. So this is a self-inflicted problem that they have. The solutions are there, the alternatives are there, and that is the fuel levy. We've presented this to the government many times. In fact, the fuel levy has gone up by so much now that you could build 5 Gauteng freeway improvement projects in cash every year, just with the increase in the fuel levy since they started building these roads. So it's not as if the money's not there. The motorist is being heavily taxed. In Gauteng, though, when you have a scheme with less than 20% of people paying, less than 20%, it's closer to 10%, and 6 billion rand ring-fenced as debt, you'll never catch that up. So I think these are the signs of the last kicks of a dying horse. They're trying to get some money in. They're trying to demonstrate to the ratings agencies that they can do something. But quite frankly, they're going to send the wrong message because there will be a massive backlash from society.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those campaigns where you've just seen motorists being completely defiant. But in reality, is there a possibility that we, as people that do not pay, get blacklisted?
No, you can't. There's no law that says that your car can be listed, as they've been saying. They've even stopped the notion that your vehicle licenses will be withheld, and if they bring that on, they will just be inviting the tax revolt into the vehicle licensing arena. So there's no blacklisting here, and there's no criminal charges coming. So we're saying to the public, continue doing what you are doing, and that is defy an unjust and irrational scheme. There's no place for this e-toll scheme in this country.
What about companies? Because Sanral in their press release says that the summonses will also include higher value summonses of mostly companies. What exactly does this mean?
Well, that's exactly what this is all about. Is they're going after, there are some companies that owe millions and millions of rands, and they want to claw back some money. But those companies have every right to stand their ground as well. If indeed they are of the belief that the public are, that they were, the whole scheme has been an irrational one and unlawfully introduced, and that if they were compliant at one stage and aren't compliant now, that they did so under duress. So there are strong arguments even for those companies that had contracts to not pay.
Yeah. When we look at, I mean, there's constantly discounts. I mean, I think there was a discount now of 60% on outstanding toll. Did it help?
No, it's failed. Hey?
Did it not find more people registering and saying, all right, let me take this offer. These e-tolls are not going away. Let me just pay.
I think they probably got an increase of 5%. So when you're down at 10 and you get to 15%, the scheme has failed. It needed over 80% compliance. So it's got less than 20. It's on the other side of that ratio. And at the same time, we've seen thousands of people de-tagging and stop paying, and we're talking about big businesses as well. So I don't think it's helped them very much. They might have clawed back a few R100 million, but we're talking billions that's outstanding.
Yeah. What are you going to do? I mean, are you going to go against them in any way? Are you from your move, or is it just you're going to stick to your guns, exactly what you've been doing all along?
We're sticking to our guns. We will defend this matter. We're not going to attack. It is now Sanral. The ball is in their court to try and fetch the money, and we will defend. The day that this matter comes to court, we will go to court to defend the motorists.
How much is Sanral in debt because of this? I mean, what do their financials look like?
Well, they're not very healthy. You know, they stated in their last set of financials that they were going to be able to collect most of the 6 billion rand that is outstanding, and that is up to September last year. That's obviously escalated quite a lot. So the new dispensation hasn't really helped them claw back that money. So it is over 6 billion rand if you take up to September last year the ring-fenced amount, and if you discount that and they try and even collect 3 billion, they accounted for that as collectible, and it's not collectible. And that's why they're in this predicament, that they've shown that they can collect a lot of that revenue, and they will not be able to collect a sizable portion of it.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned a bit earlier the fuel levy, and this again brings us to the question, why have alternative methods of funding not been introduced? There have been so many that have been recommended, but why is it insistent that we try and or they want to stick to this issue of tolling vehicles going through these plazas, but it's not working?
So, you know, we can only speculate now when you get to those hard questions, because the irrationality is so vast that you wonder why you would cling to a scheme that has failed. There's two reasons, we believe. One is they want to save face. They don't want to admit, they don't want to eat the humble pie that they made a serious mistake. The other one is that there's still enough revenue coming through. Instead of collecting 260 million rand a month, they're only collecting 80 million rand a month. But the connected companies and organizations are still enjoying that revenue stream and enjoying an income from that. Those are really connected organizations through the ETC process, all the suppliers to the scheme, and they're probably enjoying that, so they'll let it hang on for as long as they can.
I've got somebody talking on Twitter here saying, what should I join Outa and be a member? If so, will you then defend me in court if I just don't go ahead and pay my e-tolls? That's
yes,
just somebody asking.
If you haven't received your summons yet and you join Outa, we will defend those members, and it's easy. It takes 5 minutes. You go into the Outa, that's the Outa..Their website, and you sign up and you contribute. You select your amount. We don't have a set amounts there. You select how much you want to contribute, and we'll defend you.
Oh, okay. Well, so there's your answer. If you want to join, you can join indeed. Yeah. Let's sort of wrap all of this up. So this is a new development. This is a new strategy that's being used. But again, from your perspective, you feel it's actually just it's a waste of time.
Far too little, too late. This scheme is defunct. It is. I cannot emphasize more. It's dead. They will never get to the 80% plus compliance they need. At best, in 2014, in June, with the threats of criminal records against people, they got 40%. At best, we've seen these schemes around the world fail under 80%. Just last 2 weeks ago, another press announcement in Texas, in the States, failed. So, you know, we don't know why they keep flogging this dead horse, but let's see. There's obviously ulterior motives and reasons, but it's not going to work.
How much longer can it last going like this?
Well, I've said a year ago that sanity should prevail in the next year, and it hasn't. So, who knows? It could linger on. I think the coming elections are going to be quite forceful in this space.
All right, let's leave it there. Wayne Duvenage, thank you very, very much, the chairperson of Outa. Also, remember, we did invite Sanral. We did want them to be a part of this conversation, but unfortunately, their representative couldn't be with us here in studio. They were travelling and couldn't be here at the time. So that invitation is open. We would love to have them on the programme talking to us about this new measure that they've taken to try and collect all of these outstanding e-tolls. We're talking in excess of 6 billion rand at this point. All right, the time is almost 6 minutes before 7 here on the programme. Let's get you the weather. Phil, I know you're standing by. What's happening?